Welcome to Motherhood Unstressed, a podcast for anyone who wants to let go of stress and anxiety and learn how to be more fully present in life. Each week, I'm speaking with experts in the fields of entrepreneurship, nutrition, mindset, sex, spirituality, and so much more. I'm your host, Liz Carlisle. I'm a writer, a speaker, and an entrepreneur. Through my own struggle to balance the demands of motherhood and life, I discovered that to truly be happy, we need to be present. Your journey to feeling less stressed and more blissfully present in your own life starts right now. Hey guys, if you've been wondering how to grow your Instagram account, or if you have a blog, grow that traffic, then you're in the right place, because today I am speaking with the incredible Jo Placencio. She's the woman behind the blog Peace, Love, Glam, and she also has a huge following on Instagram under her name, Jo Placencio. And in this episode, I ask her how she did that, how she grew that organically. She didn't buy followers, she's not buying likes, she's growing this through genuine interaction. And so I really was curious how she did that specifically, what motivates her, what her mission statement is. And she gives so much, which of course is kind of the through line through all of this. It's the giving that you receive anything. And she is such a giver. And she takes us through why she started the blog and how she grew it, and really the secret to her success. And it's hard. It's hard work. You think a lot of influencers are just traveling the world and posing in pretty pictures, and that's really not the case. It's a lot of work. So she gets into that and what she does and what her process is. And really the reason behind it is to help and uplift others. And I think that that's so beautiful. And that's why I love to have her on the show, because not only do we talk about the tactical ways that you can grow your Instagram account or your blog following, but we talk about why you would even want to do that. And it's in the why. And so she really gets into that. And it's about positivity and connecting and giving back and treating others the way that you would want to be treated as well, which I think is a beautiful lesson in life. So I'm not going to tell you everything that we talk about in this episode. I just want you to listen and enjoy it. Please share it with a friend. Please leave us a 5-star review and take a screenshot and share it on your Insta stories, whether you're on your you're on your commute or walking your dog or during your workout, whatever you may be doing when you're listening to this episode. I want to see, and tag me at Motherhood Unstressed and tag Jo at Jo Placencio. And let me know what you think. This episode is brought to you by Motherhood Unstressed CBD. This is the supplement line that I created with the intention of helping you battle stress and anxiety in a natural way. Now, this isn't like you're taking some pharmaceutical. You're going to take these either through the tincture or the capsules, and you're going to feel a grounding out, a gentle calming down. And it's not stark. You're not going to feel drugged. But you are going to notice a difference. And if you don't notice anything, you could try to take a little bit more and see how you feel, because everyone is different and everyone metabolizes it differently. But this is really a great tool in your toolkit to help you be more you. That's the best way I can describe it. It's the best form of self-care that brings you back to who you really are and removes all of the exhausting energy that you would be spending on being anxious, being depressed, just generally not feeling like your best self. So this is my gift to you, and you can get yours in stores across the country or at my website at motherhoodunstressed.com. Well, hello, Jo. Welcome to the show. I feel like I already know you so well. I mean, I just love our connection. So I'm so excited that you're here on the show today.
Thank you, Liz. I am too. I feel very honored that you asked me to be on the show. And I feel like I know your children and your spouse, and we connect that way on IG and social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So as always on the show, before we get started, why don't you give us a little bit of your origin story, how you got started into the blog Peace, Love, Glam, and just really how you grew your audience to what it is now.
Okay, thank you. Very good question. So I've always wanted to have my own business in something, and I've had several business plans for a clean beauty bar, a clean nail salon, fitness clothes, fashion. I've thought of it all, and nothing ever really, I even had investors for a couple of the businesses, and nothing ever really felt right. And I'm a firm believer in following my gut. And I've learned that through the years. And I never could really pull the trigger, even though I had investors and had everything outlined and did my due diligence. It just didn't feel right. And so I'm a big meditator and have been for 15, 16 years almost. And so I just asked a couple of years ago, what is my purpose? Like, show me how I can do it all and inspire others. That's like my whole mission is I love inspiring. I was always helping my girlfriends with their makeup. If they had an event, they would ask me for my opinion for their clothes and health and wellness, because I've healed my own autoimmune. So just things along that line, I love to share. And so it's like, how could I do it all? So I asked in my meditation, and I heard Peace, Love, Glam blog. And I just was taken back by it. And I thought, what? And so I jumped up after my meditation and I called Chris, and he said, babe, it's perfect. You're a walking blog. It's like, you got to go for it. And I said, what a perfect way to talk about everything that I love: fitness, fashion, wellness. I mean, you can do it all. Like, there's so many possibilities, and you can, and it's all right there on your blog and IG and just sharing, and people can, have comments for you and ask you questions. And so that's how it all came to life a couple of years ago.
I love that. But I think so many people listening to this, either they've been thinking about starting a blog, or, they have that same inkling of, how can I share my life experience and what I know with the world, but then they don't take it to that next step. So what was it that really pushed you to think, okay, I have this great idea, Chris, what do you think? And he's like, yes. And then how do you make it actually happen and then make it into such a success?
Oh, thank you. So once I make I'm the type of person, once I make up my mind and it just really resonates with my soul, I do whatever it takes to make it happen. So it's kind of funny how this part happened. One day I was, I try to respond to everyone on Instagram, and it was right before I started the blog, when it was like I was trying to find someone to help me build it. And so I remember seeing somebody with the last name Fontenot, and one of my childhood best friends, that's her name. And I thought, wow, I wonder if that's her cousin or something, that just like happened to follow me on IG. And so I clicked on her name. And when I clicked on her name, it said Caitlin Fontenot, and she literally builds blogs.
Wow.
That's on IG. That's what she advertises. And she had just liked and commented on one of my photos, not knowing each other. And so I thought, that is the universe like giving me this sign. So I immediately messaged her. I DM'd her. She sent me her email, and we spoke over the phone, and she was the person who built my blog. I went with the first like that. Like, wow. I said, that's a sign. So we just really connected. She's a good soul. And we came together. I told her what I wanted, and 6 months later, the blog started. And, everyone has, I'm sure for everyone listening, we all have that fear of like, oh, is this the right thing? Or am I doing the right thing? Or am I sure? But if it's a gut feeling, you just like with having children or getting married or planning anything, you can't plan it. You just have to do it and learn along the way. We're going to make mistakes. No one's perfect. But I think the thing that pushed me is that I'm going to be 50 in April. So I'm bringing a whole different perspective. And I wanted, I've been a single mom. I've been through a lot. So I wanted to share my perspective. And I think if people think of that more than like, oh, this is already this, there's so many of this, really, there's not, because there is no competition, because we're only one us, and no one's going to bring our perspective if we're actually being authentic. So she built the blog, and I launched it on 11/22. I'm big on numbers. And so it was November 22nd, 2017 at 11:22 a.m.
Oh my God. I love that. I love that. And I love that you said that, you are, your uniqueness is your strength, essentially. No one has your life experience. No one, is you. And so even my sister, I've been trying to encourage her to start a homesteading type blog because she does creative recipes and things like that. I'm like, you should be blogging about this. This is fantastic. And she's like, oh, there's
Yes,
so many other people like that. And so I love that you just said that because, you are unique. You are who you are. And there will be an audience who will soak up what you're putting out and will benefit from your light. That's absolutely true.
exactly. Exactly.
So how has the blog changed your life since, that
Ah,
epic day that you launched?
yes. So I have to say, I've always, something that really feeds my soul is helping others. And I've been a nurturer and a giver since I was very young. And I've been on my own since I was 16 and a half. So I've kind of had to do things and learn things on my own. And I feel like helping others and sharing that has really changed me because I get so many DMs and so many messages and emails of people saying, I come to your page or your story in the morning to brighten my day. You have like this positive outlook, or you say something positive on there that just, I know I'm going to find that I need, or I feel it's very real. And I'm like, really? And I get so many messages like that. And I told Chris, if I help one person or if one person just loves it, then I'm happy. And I didn't come in with, yeah, I have my goals and I scream affirmations out loud in the morning. And I literally do. I scream them out because Chris isn't always here. And so after my meditation, I literally scream them in the shower. And so I have all these goals and I've done that for years. Of course, you want to succeed, but to me, success is if you're able to help others grow or inspire them, through your work. And so, and I've met so many amazing people that have changed me and, have helped me. So, like you, I love listening. I didn't know a lot of podcasts. And so when I started listening to yours and then others, I was like, wow, there's a whole new, you learn from others, and that's how we all grow together. That's how I feel about that.
I couldn't agree more. I'm right there with you. Just listening to others and gaining that insight and just a different world perspective is always going
Yes.
to up level you,
Yes.
So why is positivity so important in the work that you do? Because you really, it is like the through line through all of your posts. And, and the posts are all different, about fashion and green beauty and all of these different things. But there's always this element of positivity. Why is that?
My acupuncturist says I have a happy gene because it's in your DNA. And I said, you know what? I've literally trained my brain. We all have our bad days. We do. I do. There's moments when I'm like, what the hell? Like, what, and that's just part of life. But my thing is we can change that. We can change our thoughts in a moment. And so that's what I've learned to do through the years. Yes, you have to feel that emotion, but if it's something you can't change or you can't fix and it's just there, you've got to get past that. And you can't let that energy take over your world. So I really focus on that. And so if it's helped me, I know that it's going to help others. And so I just feel like it's just me being me. Like what I say on there is just me feeling what I'm feeling at the moment when I'm writing, or if I'm scrolling through Instagram and I see a quote or something, and I say, wow, this really like touched me. It's going to touch someone else. And so I'll put it in my stories and tag the person, because I just feel like we're all connected and we're all one. So if we all, I don't know, I just want to change the world with happiness and positivity. And I know I don't mean that in a way that, oh, everything's picture perfect, because it's not. But I feel like we change the world by starting with us and then reflecting that out.
But I think that's something that you really do well, is that you've done the internal work, you've worked on yourself, you do your daily meditation and affirmations, but then you also like actively go out and include others, through your collaborations and the work that you do. I mean, you're doing live events now. So talk to us about how collaborating with others has improved and even up-leveled your work even more.
Yes, that's an amazing question. So collabing with others, in the business, there's so much to learn, and I'm learning as I go along with blogging and collaborations with others. But I feel like when you focus on others, it just reflects back to you. And I knew when I started in 2019, I told Chris, well, when I started the blog, I said, there's got to be something that I do to support women. I don't know how that's going to happen yet, but it's going to happen. It's going to be part of Peace, Love, Glam. And so in December of 2018, a friend of mine who we used to work out together, we ran into each other at Whole Foods, and it started raining. So she jumped in my car and she said, I love that you dress up with your girlfriends and that you do things like at Christmas and we started talking and I said, why don't we just do like a glam night, kind of with intention and purpose? And she was like, let's do it. And I said, let's do it. Mm-hmm. And so she messaged me and we said, you want to do it in January? I said, yep, let's do it in January. We picked a date and we invited 6 of our friends and we said, this is the restaurant. And glam night for us is not about, oh my gosh, you have to just get decked out like the Oscars. It's being glam for you. Like whatever, if your glam is wearing flats and trousers and whatever, that's your glam. It's like, we're not trying to change anyone. It's like you come as you are in your way of being glam. If you don't wear makeup, don't wear makeup. If you want to put makeup on, you put it on, And I think women love to dress up and not just like for date night. And sometimes we get caught up in our world where, we're busy with the kids and working and we don't have that time. And then when we do dress up, we're like, wow, this feels really good. Mm-hmm. And so it's more about doing it for yourself. And so we picked a restaurant. We decorated the table. My partner, Angie, she's starting her own event planning business. And so she loves to decorate, and we both have a good eye for it. So we just sat down and we said, let's theme them out every month. And so the first one was just a beautiful table, and we met at the restaurant, and it was 6, so there was 6 of us women. After that dinner, and we posted it, we had so many women DMing and asking to be a part of it. So in February, we made it a Galentine's event. And I forgot this one part. So at the beginning, we have these intention cards made up. So before the dinner, we have the intention cards placed at each setting. And so I tell everyone that I want you to write down 3 intentions. It could be anything. Clean out your closet. It could be start a business. It could be spend more time with your children. Whatever it is, write it down and give me the cards, and I'm going to keep them. And the next meeting, we're going to follow up with each other to see where we are with the intentions. And so we did that. The next meeting, there was 13 women. March, there was 22. And we're skipping April because that's my birthday month. And thank you. And so in May, I think we already have a list of like 30. So It's growing, but we can't bring on everybody at once because we have to find the right venues. And, so it's slow, but there are so many women that their intentions are happening because they're actually writing them down and telling us about them. And the next meeting, they're like, we can check this one off. We can check this one off. So it's just like about supporting each other. Mm. And I love it because you go away feeling so inspired. That inspires me and feeds my soul. And when I see that with others, and I cry at every meeting because it just makes me so happy that everyone is just being open and supportive.
Well, and I think that that's something that everyone is really hungry for, you know? I mean, we're so connected in our world today, but we don't really have that in-person space and time to really let it out. And so what you're doing
Yeah.
is really beautiful and necessary work. And you do it in a really fun way. You know, you're getting dressed up and it's a beautiful setting. So
Yes.
I think what you're doing is so brilliant and so needed. So I hope everyone listening is again gaining inspiration from the work that you're doing. And where are you located? You're in Austin?
Austin.
Okay.
Austin,
So,
Texas.
yeah. So if you're in that area, definitely.
You have to come to one, Liz.
I know. I will. I definitely will. Especially when is the Formula One? I want to go to that and then I want to come to an event.
That's usually in the summer. So if you come to that, you can bring all your CBD. We could talk about that and let people. So we always tell every woman to stand up and talk about who you are, what you do, and if you're wanting to start a business or if you're a mom or whatever. So every woman stands up and, says who they are and what they do. And then it's like, everyone just automatically follows them on social media and like supports. And that's what it's about. Like if you have a business, we're the first ones that's going to buy something from you, because we want to support you. And that's what it's about. Because there is no competition. To me, it's not even in my brain because we're all different. We're all beautiful in our own different way. And so that word doesn't even come out in our events or anything. It's just about let's support. How can we help you? And the women are just amazing.
That's
so
crazy.
I'd love for you to come.
Oh, I'll be there. Definitely. But that way of thinking, you say that's it, just part of my brain. Like that's really unusual. Like that's a special trait. Most people have like this intrinsic, line of envy or, one-upping and that's just human nature. I mean, it's been proven. So to be that way and then even, to encourage others to be more open and supportive, like that's really amazing. And that's really important. So that's rock on. I love that. So for all the people listening to this, I get, a lot of mothers, obviously, and a lot of women who are in the online space. What is something that they can do? They're inspired by your work. How can they grow their brand or blog or just help others like you have done? What's the first thing that they can do?
I think the first thing is really connecting with your followers. I know we do get busy, and I've actually had other bloggers say, is that you responding to everyone or do you have help? I said, this is all me. There is not one person I have working with me, and I have a full-time job. I work in pharmaceutical research too, and I travel weekly with that job. I set my alarm clock an hour early in the morning, or I set a timer in the evening to where I strictly just respond to everyone. Sometimes there's way too many comments and I just can't. And then I don't want to get blocked on Instagram for commenting too many times. So I have to do it in spurts, but I think that is huge. And I get a lot of thank yous for that. So they're taking the time to come to your page and to comment on your photo and to say something kind to you. So why wouldn't you engage? In the real world, would you not, if somebody came up and said, wow, what a beautiful outfit, would you just not say anything and walk away? So I think that part of it, I'm a Texas girl, born and raised. I say good morning. We smile at everyone that we, encounter. That's just the way we're raised here. It's Southern hospitality, just being kind. And so I take that into my blog. If somebody's taking the time to come to my page or in my DM and say something to me, I get a lot. I can't respond to everybody in my DMs, but if they comment on my photo, I'm really big about that. And then I think supporting other women. If a friend has a business or something, I'll put it in my stories. Or if it's like doing what you want people to do for you, you have to put that back into the world. And it's going to come back. And it's not going to come back like automatic. One day you may have it where it just comes back had somebody repost my stuff in their stories, and then I got all these followers, and I'm like, what? But I say these affirmations and pray for things. Just show me a way, like, so I can support others. They can support me, help me grow my following, with the right followers, the people who really resonate with me. So I think just really like finding that, your followers and connecting with them on a personal level and actually taking the time, not just to say thank you, but reading what their comment says. Because we all get in a hurry. We do. And, I've listened to so many podcasts and read so many things before starting my blog that it's all about interaction. And so I just feel like that's huge, and that will really change. And I repost a lot of things in my stories. So I think reposting things in stories, connecting with others. I participate in giveaways with businesses, like to give away something and to help them get followers, to help me get followers. So those are the avenues that I use.
I love it. I love it. And again, I think it comes back to your giving spirit, that collaborative spirit, which brings me to my next point is you also talk a lot about spirituality and how big a role that has played in your life, with your son and just everything. So can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes. So I've always felt like from the time I was a little girl that I could feel things, and, I was very sensitive to things. And I've been on my own since I was 16 and a half. That's a whole other podcast. But anyway, so I've just learned a lot through the years, and I had to work on myself to get where I was. I feel like spirituality is just diving into becoming a better human and delving into your demons, to whatever it is that you have to work on. We're all here for a purpose and working on ourselves. There's no one that's perfect. So I started my spiritual journey in my 20s. I met a therapist. I was going to therapy, and he was a spiritual therapist. I'll never forget. I walked in, and it was like this home in Houston, and they had Louise Hay, Abraham Hicks, Wayne Dyer, Deepak Chopra, all these books. And so he sent me home with a lot of these different books. And he says, you're here for a reason. And he says, we're going to help you get through the things that you need to get through. We're going to help you to forgive, and we're going to help you just on your path. And he said, it's amazing that at a young age that you knew to come to get help. And so I started on that journey. I started reading Wayne Dyer, his books, Louise Hay, You Can Heal Your Life. That's where I got the affirmations. Telling myself that I loved myself in the mirror. That was like crazy. I just felt like, what? Tell myself that I love myself? It was awkward. But once you just repeat it, if we don't love ourselves, how are we going to love our children? How are we going to love ourselves? And I was a young mom. At 22, I had my son. And so I was, there was just so much going on. I was divorced within a short time after having him. So I was raising him on my own. And there was just all of this anger and like, I don't know what is happening with me. And so I started with affirmations, and I truly believe that affirmations will change your world, but it's consistency. It's literally waking up every day and saying, this is my time. I need to meditate. And then I say my affirmations, and nothing comes in the way of that. Just like I make a date with myself to go work out. Like, you have to take the time for yourself. Even with little ones, I would get up at 4 a.m, Liz, and go work out. Because my son, I knew that once I got started, once he woke up, it was breakfast, get him ready for school. In the afternoon, it was his homework, and it was all me doing it by myself. So I just knew I had to, set aside time for myself, or I wouldn't be a good mother. Do I say that I was nobody's perfect? I can look back and say, I wasn't, I did this or this. I wish I could have changed this. But you know what? It's all made me who I am today. And I think just by accepting that nothing's perfect, you're never going to be the perfect mom, the perfect wife. Your partner isn't either. And just accepting that and doing the best that we can and just growing in that sense. But I'm a firm believer in taking care of your own mental, physical, and spiritual health, because that's truly what we're here for. And I think we're all just walking each other home.
Oh, God, you are completely speaking my language. Everything you just said just vibrates so much with me. Like, I love the work that you're doing. I love that you just said that. And everyone listening, I think, was just uplifted because of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, we could really just end on that, but I do want to give the listeners a big takeaway. If there was anything from Jo that they can remember from this talk, what would it be?
To love yourself first, because without that self-love, you can't truly love anyone else. And it's a process. But when you really think about that for a moment, just really think hard about that. If you don't love yourself, if you can't look at yourself and say, you know what, I'm not perfect, but you know what, I'm beautiful. Whatever. I have 6 eyes. I have, whatever it is that bothers us. And whatever it is about ourselves, just learn to love ourselves in just all the way around. And then we're going to be that way with our children and the people around us. And I can truly say the moment I started to love myself, I was able to love others and to give more.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow. And I feel like when you come from that kind of thinking, you have more energy, you have more love. It's like an endless well that you never feel like you're giving too much or you're depleted at all. It's just always there.
Exactly. Just like the universe doesn't know good or bad, it just reflects back to us what we are, what we're thinking, what we say. So when you think about that, the Wayne Dyer quote, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change, that's on my blog. And it really resonated with me in my 20s, and it changed my world, because think about that. If you change the way you look at things, it's going to change you. So if you look for love, you're going to get love. If you're loving, you're going to get loving. Everything is reflected back. What we put out in the universe, we get back. So we just have to focus on that.
Wow, absolutely. I love it. So I do have some rapid fire questions, always at the end, if you're ready.
Oh, okay.
Positivity is?
Positivity is happiness and sharing love with others.
Motherhood is?
Motherhood is life. Without mothers, there is no life. And mothers are superwomen.
I'm grateful for?
I am grateful for my family. I'm grateful for my life. I'm grateful for this podcast. I'm grateful for the people listening. I'm grateful for just being alive and waking up this morning.
And lastly, what's something that you've learned in life that you wish someone would have told you earlier on?
To do the things that scare you the most. And those are going to be the most rewarding.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so where can our listeners, who now are obsessed with you, like I am, where can they find you online?
You can find me at Jo Placencio on Instagram, and my blog is Peace, Love, Glam. And then the other Instagram is Glam Soiree, and that's the woman supporting women empowerment.
Awesome. This was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your light every single day on Instagram and through your blog. It's really so needed and so necessary. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Liz. I can't wait for you to come to Austin.
Me too. Woohoo. You have been listening to the Motherhood Unstressed podcast, and I'm your host, Liz Carlisle. Thank you so much for tuning in. I truly appreciate each and every one of you that tunes in every single week. And if this is your first time, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I hope that you stick around because we have got some amazing content coming up this year. I'm so excited to share with you. And really, this episode and every episode is about empowering you, the listener, to live your best life. That's my intention with each and every episode. So I hope that I've done that for you today. I hope I've done my job. If I have, please let me know. If you leave us an a review on iTunes, please do that. Or, send me a message on Instagram. I love to hear your feedback. I truly, truly do. I respond to every single message because it matters. This work that I'm doing matters, and you matter. See you next time.